hike right on top of that ridge. It goes to the top of the waterfall. It's one of my favorites. I spent a lot of time hiking and backpacking out here. I'll never forget, I saw came up here first flight of the day a couple of months ago. Had one family on board. His mom and dad, 3 little boys, right? And 2 of them are twins. The other one's a little bit older. And so the kids a lot of times fall asleep, especially early in the morning when they're young. And but anyway, they hadn't said a word the whole flight, and they were sitting in the back. And all of a sudden, we made that turn. The oldest boy's like, "Dad, I see a dinosaur." And we looked over on top of that ridge. Somebody was up there in one of those T-Rex dinosaur costumes, jumping around waving. Kids went nuts, man. I'll never forget those little boys' laugh. They laughed the whole time about that. And so the family said they come back every 5 years, and I told them, I said, you guys look for me. If you can give me a heads up, I will buy one of those costumes. I'll have somebody up there in 5 years if you guys come back again. So.
Is there a road there? Are you
yeah, well, you can hike to that. The road runs right here along the edge of the canyon. So Highway 550 brings us up here, and you'll see it right on the edge of the canyon. So if you come back, this is a place you want to spend a day for sure, at least. I would recommend several days, but the road's right underneath us.
That's a road?
Yep. And then this is all Kauai State Park. It surrounds Waimea Canyon. So between the two, we have about 19 hiking trails out here.
Totally different than what we just came out of, though.
Yeah, it changes drastically all the way around the island. A lot of hiking up here, a lot of hunting also. If anybody's into that, we have wild pigs on the island everywhere, and so I get them in my yard all the time. And yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah, and then we have Spanish goats, similar to billy goats, live down in the canyons, and then about 1,000 black-tailed deer here in Kauai as well. Those are mule deer, sometimes called, that were brought in from Oregon back in the 60s. You guys may have heard we have a couple of chickens here in Kauai. Have you seen any yet? Just one? It's because we only have one Kentucky Fried Chicken in the whole island, right? Yeah. So you see this equipment off to our left. Now this is about as close as we can get to that. This is part of Barking Sands Missile Range. It's a Navy base here in Kauai. It's our own military installation, but it's that is the first line of defense for the United States as far as tracking missiles and being able to possibly track those and intercept those, right? So my understanding is that what they do is they're able, we'll get these little bumps here, guys, and it'll calm down when we get over the water. They track all that from here, gather the information, and then all that information is sent offshore to whatever ship happens to be in the way. So last year with North Korea, that was kind of a busy place. That was the first line of defense for those guys, so hopefully they get that wrapped up. I don't want to deal with that anymore. It's a little nerve-wracking for sure.
This place is gorgeous. Can't imagine living here.
It's a special place. Guys, welcome to the magical Nepali coast.
I see trees of green, red roses.
What I'll do is I'm going to bring a couple of beaches along the right-hand side. We'll talk about those, and then we'll bring them back around on the left side, make sure everybody gets a good view. So we'll make several turns up and down on the Nepali coast. So if anybody starts to get queasy, by all means, let me know, and I'll slow those down. First place you want to see is this first beach right here. You can see an arch goes right through the middle of it. We turn, it'll get a little bit better, but that's called Hanapu. Hanapu is the tallest sea arch in Hawaii. It's about 90 feet tall.
How do you get to it?
Yeah, that's the trick. You have to swim into that beach. Yeah, there's no boat landings, not even kayaks to that beach. You guys may recognize it from Pirates of the Caribbean, Stranger Tides, when Johnny Depp ran through it, found the Spanish ship, and then also the 76 version of King Kong when they first came on shore. That's where they were at, yeah.
Two of my favorite movies.
Yeah, they're awesome, huh? It looked scary in King Kong, didn't it?
Definitely.
I realized it's so beautiful. This beach is called Kalalau. It's the very end of the famous Kalalau hiking trail, but you won't see any hikers on that beach right now. We had some record floods last April, and it wiped out the road to get up here for right now. So, but you used to be able to hike into this, and probably later this summer be able to.
There ain't much more than I ever knew, and I think
This is Kalalau Valley right here, the largest valley on the Nepali coast.
yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So Fred, Maryland again. This is Kalalau Valley. Beautiful cathedrals right here, and then you have the Kalalau Beach right below us, and then the Hanapu Arch Beach coming up. So yeah, to get to this beach, most beaches in Hawaii, all beaches in Hawaii are there are no private beaches in Hawaii, right? So sometimes they're surrounded by private property, which means you can't trespass to get to them. But if you can come in by boat, that's okay. These two have special regulations though. This one you have to. This one you have to come in by boat, anchor offshore, and then swim in and out. So again, it's illegal to take even a kayak or a surfboard onto this beach. Days like today, you're not going to do that, right? It's just too much. In summertime, though, that's pretty common. You can do that. Reason for that is the beach, the arch in this valley is very sacred to the Kauaians. Hanapu Valley is better known as Valley of the Gods because every Kauaian chief is buried in the cliffs along here. Yep. So the chiefs were called Ali'i, and so each Ali'i was thought to have a supernatural power that was unique to him. They believed that once the Ali'i passed away, the powers he had would stay in his bones, and they thought if you found them, then the powers went to you. So they didn't want to see that. So that's why they would hide them in inaccessible places. But they actually took it a step further. They would choose their greatest warrior. It was considered his highest honor. And the crazy part is he knew all about this, but he was lowered into the valley by a vine. On the way down, he chose a place to hide the bones, maybe a cave or a ledge. And then when he did that, the warriors at the top cut the vine loose. Of course, he fell to his death at that point. And that made sure that nobody ever knew exactly where the Ali'i was buried at. So there's a tremendous amount of history back in this valley. It's my favorite along the Nepali coast.
Just amazing. You ever get sick of this?
I love it. I've got a lot of responsibility, right? And so, but I am truly blessed to do something I enjoy doing it, and people to such a beautiful place. Now, Kalalau Beach, there's two actual ways to get to it. You can either hike into it or kayak. So again, kayaking would be just during the summertime when the waves are calm. Wintertime, 15, 30-foot waves. I've seen them as big as 55 feet out here. And so yeah, it gets pretty crazy out here in the winter. This is a really calm day. You know, of course, we're in spring, so it keeps going back and forth.
It's the water temperature.
It doesn't vary a lot. Maybe 82 degrees, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't vary a lot. Of course, if it gets below 70 out here, we think we're freezing to death now. So after you live here about 6 months, you start getting that what they call the island blood, right? You can feel the difference. 70 degrees is pretty chilly anymore.
How long you been here?
Almost 4 years, not quite, yeah. There's a hiking trail that runs along the coast right through here. I'm going to try to show you guys a section of. You can see this waterfall right up here coming out of the red dirt. So Fred, Maryland, I think if you could look to the left of it, everybody else to the right of it right there, you can see that horizontal line maybe right on the edge of the cliffs. This is considered one of the most dangerous trails we have in the United States. This thing's 5-6 inches wide through here. 200 to 300 foot drop straight down to the ocean. No guardrails. Straight down right now on both sides.